Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Warriors Fastbreak here on HBC TV 25. I'm Justin Barrientos. Thank you for joining us today. We'll start out by talking women's basketball with head coach Scott Ballard and a split this weekend. So let's get into talking about the Minnesota-Duluth game. I know that going into it, we knew that was going to be a difficult game. Duluth, very good team this year. Tell us about kind of your thoughts going into the game and then what happened during the game.
Well, we knew that that trip was going to be challenging because it's two of the best defensive teams in the league, especially in the North Division, and they're both having really good years. And this may be the best Duluth team they've had in 10 years. They have an all-conference senior point guard and then a wing who's a really good shooter. They're well coached. They have a good bench. I personally believe that they are probably the most complete team in the league in terms of balanced offense, a good bench, and then they play really good defense and take care of the ball. So they're hard to beat. St. Cloud is not as good with their inside game, but they have a very strong backcourt and three guards that are tremendous scorers. So that combined with the fact they play really good defense as well. And their road games, everybody's dangerous on the road, and some teams play with more energy, shoot the ball better, play with more confidence at home than they do on the road, and that's typically how both those teams are. The Duluth game, honestly, it's been a long time since I've been involved in a game where we lost by 20 points, and I wasn't frustrated, angry, disappointed in two or three phases of the game, but they just shot the ball incredibly well from start to finish, and we couldn't shoot with them for 40 minutes. Game was over, and I told our team in the locker room, I said, I'm not mad and upset with you guys. We got to tip our hat. They shot the ball incredibly well. We might have been able to do a few things better, but we shot 44% from the field ourselves. But they shot 60% for the game. They had 6 different people that shot a combined 12 to 24 from three-point land. We played man, we played zone. We changed defenses a little bit. It didn't matter. It was just one of those nights where even late clock situation, I think they had 4 times where they threw the ball up there with a non-shooting hand, and somehow it found a way to rattle in. So sometimes it happens, and it happened to us that night. I was really proud of us the next day playing at St. Cloud, another strong defensive team coming off of a disappointing loss. And then we got off to a slow start. I think we hit 2 of our first 12 shots. First minute of the second quarter, we're down 21-6. That is a deep hole to try to come out of against a quality team on the road. But we started finding ways to score. Our defense was really solid the second quarter. We were only down 5 at halftime. We come out, start second half, and I can't remember exactly, but I know that we went from 5 down to 5 up before the first media timeout. So we got ourselves back in the game, knew it was going to be a real battle, and it was, and it came down to the very last possession. I think we got up 5 with like 2 minutes to go. They hit a 3, we missed a shot, they scored to tie the game. We come down without calling timeout, and I think Allie got a layup drive, and it was short, and Rachel was very alert and followed and scored what turned out to be the winning basket with 7 seconds to go, and then they called timeout, advanced the ball, and we had a great defensive stop and got a rebound to finish the game with a split. So earning the split on that trip is a good accomplishment for us. And Allie and I, we were talking on the way down here. We've been on the road 3 of the last 4 weekends. It's been a grueling stretch against some good competition and some long, challenging trips, and I feel good about the way that we've played for the most part the last 3 weekends.
You talked about falling behind against St. Cloud early on in the game. Was there any point in that where you're thinking, oh no, here we go again from what you had Friday night?
No, because Friday night we were making shots. We just didn't make as many consistently as Duluth did. But against St. Cloud, we just had trouble making shots in the first quarter. We changed some things at halftime that gave us some dribble drive opportunities, especially for Keek, and that opened up some things for other people. And then in the fourth quarter, we ran, I think we ran 3 or 4 new sets that we actually scored 3 times off of. Kayla Schaefer 2 times in a row, and then Allie got a pull-up jumper late in the shot clock. So that gave us some momentum and confidence, and it was just a matter of making plays and not doing anything stupid as far as fouling the shooter or not boxing out, and we finished that game well.
All right, we got about a minute left in this segment. This weekend, you're back home. It's Minot and Mary that you're facing. How do you face off against these 2 teams?
Well, Mary, honestly, we told our team yesterday, Mary may well be the most talented team in the league. They're 13-5 or 13-6. I think they're 11-5 in conference. But they have the top 2 scorers in the league. They're both averaging 19 and 10 rebounds a game. Gabby Bowl was picked as preseason player of the year in the North Division, and then her teammate Cassie Askvig, she's a dynamic player, and they have a couple D1 transfer shooters. Their starting lineup at the wings, they're 6 foot, 6'1", and then they go 6'2", 6'2". So they're long, they're athletic, they're very skilled. It's surprising that they have 5 losses, but they are without a doubt the most talented and biggest team in the league. So they'll be a big challenge. And Minot, very good backcourt play. They have 3 guards that are very dynamic and do the bulk of their scoring, but they play really hard and change defense. I'm impressed with their toughness and grit that they have. So they've lost a couple 1-point games to some good teams. They've beaten some good teams. They've been getting better as the season went along. So they're both going to be challenges for us, and we're going to have to play really well.
All right, and those are games that you can watch here on HBC TV 25, so we hope you tune in. We'll take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Allie Pickering will join us right after this.
Don't miss out on highlights and score updates from your favorite local college and high school athletics by following HBC TV 25 Sports. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to get up-to-date information on all the games covered by the HBC sports team. Grab your smartphone and add us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at HBC TV 25 Sports.
What's a Southern girl? It's waking up before the sun rises. It's loving the simple things in life like the dirt roads that lead you home. It's working hard to get what you want. It's hanging your own stands, breaking your own ground, and strategizing every little move for that one moment when everything you've worked for is standing right in front of you. Even if I fail a million times, I keep pushing myself till I'm exhausted, filthy, and about to give up. And that's when the adrenaline hits.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. Allie Pickering now joins us. And Allie, you heard what Coach had to say about the weekend from your perspective, from the players. How did things go this weekend against Duluth and St. Cloud?
Duluth was, like you said, kind of like you got to tip your hat to them because they could not miss a shot. And we had talked before the game about who their shooters were, who you can kind of help off of, and everyone was just nailing shots. The girl I was guarding, they were like, oh, she's only made 9 threes in conference. Hits her first 3 right out of the gate, and I was just like, right then I kind of knew. I was like, well, this is going to be an interesting one. But St. Cloud was a good win for us. I really enjoyed that game just with how our team came together collectively. And it's always fun when you have like everyone kind of part of the success. Like we had 4 people in double digits, a couple people right behind, and it was like towards the end of the game when we needed big buckets, it wasn't just one person doing it. That layup I had at the end of the game where I missed it short and Rachel got the rebound, I was like, at least one of us can make a layup. I remember they called a timeout to advance the ball, and I went up to Rachel. I was like, at least one of us is going to finish that. But Schaefer was clutch at the end of that game, and Keek with a couple and-one opportunities, and it was just a really fun game to be a part of.
All right, now for you personally, we talked to you right after the Quincy tournament, and it was kind of a preview of the season, and you said you knew what you had to do this season to get ready. How has the season gone for you? I know that you look at the stats, maybe the stats are just a little bit lower, but how have things gone for you this season?
It was a slower start than I would have wanted, but overall, like, me personally, it's more about wins than how I'm doing. As long as we're winning, I honestly couldn't care about anything that's on a piece of paper, all that stuff. So we just got to improve as a team, and whatever I can do to help us get to where we need to be is what I'm going to do, whether that's me like rebounding more, assisting more plays. It's not always just about making the outside shots, although I do plan to make more of those.
Well, let's ask about that, because I think it was a game or two ago that you hit your first couple of three-point shots. I think it was the last homestand that we saw, and you said after the game that I gave you a little bit more confidence. Do you kind of, I don't know how to ask this without it maybe sounding like an insult, but do you need that kind of confidence in order to continue producing during a game?
Well, as a shooter, it's always nice and confidence boosting when your first couple shots go in, especially if they're, for me, if they're closer together, like it just kind of gives me that extra boost. I'm more hyped up for sure. So yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily need that, but it does help in the long run, I guess, for that confidence, yeah. All
right, now last year as a true freshman, you were mostly the point guard. And this year you started out that way, and through January, I think Emily Keek was inserted into the lineup, and she was handling some of the point guard duties. Does that help you maybe get more confidence, look at the game a little bit differently because you don't have to do that anymore?
It makes it easier for me to be kind of more of like it sounds kind of weird, but when Keek has the ball, I feel like I'm able to direct our offense more off the ball because I can help us in our motion offense, like have other people tell them to flash in or tell them to set a screen for them instead of dribbling the ball at the top, trying to tell everyone where to go, what to do. So I feel like that's helped me just kind of help our team a little bit more, and then also it's freed me up to not have to create all of my own shots. I have Keek coming off screens, and she's either gonna get to the rim or my girl's gonna help and I'm gonna get a shot. So that's always fun.
All right, last question. Do you guys feel like you're playing your best basketball right now? And if not, what do you need to do in order to get that drive towards the end of the year and towards playoffs?
The St. Cloud game, I for sure thought that we were playing good basketball. I think that we have a lot of potential, and there's always more room to grow, and I think that we are for sure getting there. I think by the end of conference, we will be playing our best basketball.
Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I'm seeing a lot of progression from week to week in the last month. Since Christmas break, with the exception of the Southwest Minnesota State game, we have been really good at the free throw line, and we've gotten to the line a lot more. A lot of that is because of Keek getting a lot of dribble drive opportunities and setting other people up. But we also have more people that are getting involved with posting up. And not just post people, but our wings, Schaefer and some others. We're getting more confident and consistent with good shot selection. We still haven't had a breakout high three-point shooting game. I don't know if we will. I don't know if that's who we are right now. Mm-hmm. But our shot selection is improved a lot. We now are shooting 40% from the field on the season, and we got off to a really slow start. We're like fourth in the league in free throw shooting. We're like 74%. We're one of the better teams in the league as far as not giving the ball away with turnovers. So we're doing some good things. Our defense has been pretty solid all year. We still need to see if we can get to where we can put 65, 70 points up on the board. And when we start doing that, then I think it'll be really difficult for people.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, and good luck this weekend.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. Men's basketball is next with head coach Todd Eisner right after this.
In the beginning, there was dial-up. Slow as syrup dial-up. When 3 megabits arrived, it felt like riding a cyclone with your hands in the air. Until 100 megabits sent you surfing with glee on a cavernous pipeline of bits and bytes. Which brings us to 1 gig. That's 1,000 megabits per second from HBC. We're about to break the internet speed barrier. Your home deserves the fastest internet. Get gigabit internet today from HBC. Internet redefined.
Stay up to date with Winona Area Public Schools by watching Making the Grade here on HBC TV 25, presented by Cost Cutters. Join me, Superintendent Rich Dahman, each month for interviews with administrators, district staff, and students. Tune in to Making the Grade Monday through Friday here on HBC TV 25, brought to you by Cost Cutters of Winona, located in the professional building in the Winona Mall Annex.
Welcome back to Warriors Fast Break. Time now to talk men's basketball with head coach Todd Eisner. And you had a split this weekend. The Duluth game was your fourth out of the last 5. Tell us a little bit about the Duluth game and what worked in that game.
Well, I thought we defended at a pretty good level for the most part of the game. I thought our energy level was pretty good to start the game. Caught a little break in that Duluth's best player was sick and did not play. But I thought our guys handled that from a mental perspective really well and still played with a good energy level on both ends of the floor. And we continued a streak of shooting the ball well from the arc. And anytime we do that, we seem to have a decent amount of success and a good chance of winning the game. You
also caused Duluth to have 16 turnovers, and then you outscored them in points off turnovers 16-6. I imagine that was part of the reason why you winning.
Yeah, turned them over in the first half a bunch. I think 9 or 10 turnovers in the first half, and I thought that was key. Like I said, I thought we were pretty active on the defensive end of the floor and did a nice job. Burns inside was a load for us, and he was pretty productive, but we did a good job on everybody else relative to their skill sets and taking away what they did well. So I thought it was a good start to the weekend, and like I said, we came on the other end of the floor, and I thought we cleaned some things up in the second half. Offensively, we were more aggressive. I thought Duluth was the more physical team in the first half from a defensive standpoint, and we didn't handle that great. But I thought we shot the ball better in the second half and got lower, played stronger, played tougher, got into the paint and got to the rim a little bit, and also created some three-point shots on the perimeter through that penetration.
One of the things that really stood out to me in looking at the recap, and it's kind of surprising to hear considering you say that you get tougher and you were going into the paint, is that you didn't shoot a lot of free throws. In fact, 5 of 5 from the free throw line, and all 5 of those were Caleb Wagner. That's kind of a kind of crazy stat.
Yeah, maybe I should change my statement in that Caleb got tougher with the ball, but that was one of the people we talked about at halftime was to Caleb. That felt like we settled for some jumpers too much in the first half, and they weren't necessarily good shots. And so I thought Caleb did a good job of adjusting his game with the way they were playing him. And like I said, he got lower and played stronger and got to the paint, got to the free throw line, converted a few, and then also made his 1-3 that he did take in the second half. So, Kevion was steady again. I thought Devin played a good floor game for us. And like I said, we made 12 threes again, and that's usually a precursor for us doing pretty well.
Devin Whitelow continues to play well, especially we watch the assist-to-turnover ratio because he's #1 in the country right now, and it's #1 by a long shot. 5.59 is his rate, and there's only 2 other players in Division II that are at 4, so he's almost 1.5 assists better than turnovers over the course of the season. What is it like to have a player like that handles the ball well, doesn't turn it over, creates opportunities for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to have a point guard that is a good decision maker. Devin's really strong with the basketball, tough with the ball, and that's you watch Devin at 5'9" and 155 pounds. It might not necessarily come off as that's one of his skill sets, but he's really an intelligent player. Does a great job handling the basketball, finding open people. He actually, he's probably a little too safe with his decision making. For me, I think there's some times when he could try to make some other plays with the ball. But if you had a choice between the two, someone who's not going to turn the ball over or someone who's going to force too many issues, Devin certainly does a great job of taking care of the basketball for us.
All right, then off to St. Cloud State and a loss in that one. Tell us about that game and what happened there.
Yeah, St. Cloud's a tough matchup for us. They're just really long, really athletic. They've got some really skilled players at the 2, the 3, and the 4, and those 3 guys really dominated the game. Brinley Tyson did a great job shooting the ball all weekend. He was 15 of 20 from the 3 in 2 games that weekend. And then Gage Davis has been a thorn in our side. Really, for 4 years, he's NSIC's all-time leading scorer. I think he finished with 33, and Tyson finished with 27. So they had 60 of their 85 points. And then Sean Smith didn't score a lot, but he had 9 rebounds, he had 7 assists, he had 6 block shots. So he almost had a triple-double without scoring much. And he really changed the game at the rim for us. I thought we played really hard, obviously tied at 34 at halftime, and then they came out the second half and were really good offensively. We didn't have too many answers for them.
All right, yeah, the second half, I think it was 7 minutes were gone before they missed a shot. So how do you counter that? I mean, how do you try to keep yourself in the game when the other team is just shooting lights out?
Well, you're probably asking the wrong guy because I didn't come up with any answers on Saturday. Like I said, they're just a tough matchup for us. I mean, Gage Davis at 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan, we put Caleb on him, and Caleb likes to brag that he's 6'2", and he's probably closer to 6 foot. And Caleb's going to fight him, but when you're talking about 6'5", I mean, he just backed Caleb down, he just backed Delonte down, and they got to 3 or 4 feet and finished plays. Like I said, Tyson's skill set is to make a lot of threes. We didn't do a very good job of finding him, and then when we did find him, he was in a rhythm already and did a nice job of knocking down things from the arc. So they just, like I said, they pose a problem for us that we don't have great matchups for on a defensive end, just from a size standpoint and maybe just an athleticism standpoint that really caused us some problems, in particular in the second half.
All right, coming back home this weekend, what is the injury update for this weekend?
Well, I think we're getting as close to being normal as we possibly can. I don't know if anybody's normal at this time of the year. We obviously are trying to milk Chuck to the end of the year, and so he's pretty limited as to what he does throughout the week. He didn't handle Friday very well. He played very well for us on Friday, but woke up Saturday and didn't feel great with either ankle, and so I think he only played 10 or 12 minutes on Saturday and just didn't have a lot of mobility to his game. So he'll be a little touch and go the rest of the year. I think Alex getting healthier and looked as close to normal as he has since he sprained the ankle against Augustana. And then everybody else, I think, is just trying to get through the typical bumps and bruises at this time of the year.
All right, and then this weekend is Minot and Mary. How do you match up against these two teams?
I think they're 2 similar teams to the way we are. I mean, I think Minot's 6-10 in the league, and Mary's 7-9. Both of them had some good wins. Minot went to Sioux Falls and beat Sioux Falls. Mary on Saturday drilled Augustana, beat them bad at home. Should have beat St. Cloud at St. Cloud. So it's going to be a big challenge for us. We did a nice job of protecting home court the last time we were at home. It'll be really important for us to protect home court again this weekend.
All right, and again, those games are right here on HBC, so we hope you tune into that. We're going to take a break here on Warriors Fast Break. When we come back, Alec Rosner will join us right after this.
Kelmus Implement Company is an agricultural equipment dealership. Back in 2016, when HBC brought fiber optics to Altura, we saw a huge benefit in internet speeds over previous providers. With our vendors requiring real-time communications with our inventory and parts books, the internet speed has given us an advantage over our competition. I would recommend HBC's products because HBC has helped Kelmus Implement grow.
Contact HBC about our lightning-fast home and business internet connections today.
Sledhead 24/7. If it happens on the snow, find it here first. Snowmobile destinations, sled evaluations, lifestyles, aftermarket and product reviews, highlighting all aspects of racing, and get the inside coverage on the AMSOIL Championship Snowcross. Sledhead 24/7, where we are everything snowmobile.
And welcome back to Warriors Fast Break here on HBC TV 25. We're joined today by Alec Rosner. Thank you for joining us here today. I need to apologize for a second because we're going to go back to your high school days. There's a lot to unpack in your high school days. I want to talk about football a little bit before we get into any of your basketball stuff, because you went to Kimberly High School, the Papermakers, great nickname, by the way. And while you were there, Kimberly was in the middle of a 70-game winning streak. So your entire football career, you never lost a game.
Correct.
Can you tell us what that's like to have that kind of a streak?
It's surreal. It's a credit to the program that they've built over there at Kimberly, and the coaches they have there are great, and obviously doing something right when you can string together 5 perfect years, and even this sixth year they were runners up and lost to a tough Fond du Lac team. Just being a part of that program, I think, really helped me a lot and developed me as an athlete and, more importantly, as a person.
That's just amazing that you're a state champion every year in football and in different positions too, because obviously they had quarterback set for a while. You had played quarterback, but you played wide receiver and then switched to quarterback. What was that kind of transition like?
It was pretty smooth. Growing up, I was a quarterback all throughout youth, and we had the quarterback ahead of me is at Wisconsin now. So I kind of knew that if I wanted to play, I'd have to move positions, and the transition was easy because being the quarterback, you have to know all the routes anyways, so like that wasn't a problem. And then just having a good quarterback to get you the ball is a lot of fun and better than just sitting behind them and playing in the blowouts when you're up 30 in the 4th quarter.
Was there any one memory that you look back on your career at Kimberly to say, hey, this was something that I'm going to remember forever?
Probably my senior year, either the first game against Fond du Lac, for my first start at quarterback, or our state championship game when we won it.
Okay. Now I know that when you announced that you had signed Alec Rosner to come here to Winona State, you mentioned the fact that he was part of the championship football team and that was going to help him in basketball. Can you kind of explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, I think anytime you can identify student athletes and recruits that are part of winning programs, I think it's really important. And Kimberly's basketball program's doing great this year and had a successful year in Alec's senior year. So, you were talking about someone who was used to winning, understood winning in multiple sports. And we like multiple sport athletes also. I think it's really important that, if we can get somebody that has played football, there's a toughness element to that I think translates to basketball in a positive way. So, when we got a chance to know Alec and talk to him throughout the recruiting process, and then he showed interest in Winona State, we thought it would be a great fit for us.
All right, so you're here as a basketball player now. So what was the decision to go with basketball in your college career?
Growing up, basketball's always been my favorite. And when my senior year came around and it went from football to basketball, I realized that basketball is where my heart is. And I think if I were to continue playing a sport in college, I knew that I wanted to play basketball because I loved it and wanted to be a part of something else for another 4 years.
All right, so as a true freshman now, you're playing quite a bit. You're getting about 16 minutes a game. You heard from Coach Eisner that you had injured your ankle a couple weeks ago. It was kind of game time decision whether you were going to play the last homestand. What was it like to have to play through that pain, and how did the decision come about that you were going to play?
Well, I was out most of the week, and actually Friday I had worked out with Coach Melvick, our assistant, and it felt really good. Talked to our trainer and just asked if I could suit up just so I could be ready. Just fighting through the pain wasn't terrible. Obviously, I was a little limited in like my mobility and strength and stuff, but just getting through it was fine, and the training staff did a great job in getting me ready to go.
All right, and in your opinion, what do you need to do to be successful this weekend?
We got to continue to shoot the ball well like we have been on our little run we've been on. We have to continue to defend at a high level and execute on the offensive end with pace, and like Coach said, getting in the paint, drawing, kicking out, and finishing at the rim.
All right, well, thank you guys for joining us, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us here on Warriors Fast Break. We'll see you next time here on HBC TV 25.